Okay, so we're going over logo stuff, and see, this is that dark to light. This is that paint quick or gradient, and this is that kind of painting on edges that I was just talking about. Um, so duplicating stuff so you don't have to paint it multiple times. This is probably a really good demo for you trying to as you're working on your sword because it goes through painting that whole thing. And I don't think anyone has ribbons like I was just talking about, but you get that text on there and then kind of running. We ran layer styles, right? But sometimes it takes that little extra edge of painting on there. Okay, so think about what you can do to get that. And that typically is painting another layer. And then we also, if I'm talking about adding an extra level of gradients to almost everybody's, even Jalen's, who's like a super sporty thing. And then often there's like this flowy stuff going on with the game art stuff and effects like particle effects or fire chunks or embers. Those are things to add as an additional element. So think about what is that magic that you're going to bring to your pieces. And I showed you a demo today within Bonner brushes using I think it's called Magic Art for China's demo. So that's going to be a recording. I'm going to post that up on YouTube tonight for you to check out. Let's make sure that we take a look. So I'm looking at you doing your finished logo by next class. 3 colorways is not as important as getting that finished logo finished out, okay? That will be our last touch on it. We can do reworks later, but we really want to try to get it done now. And then I want you to start gathering benchmarks. You just need 3 benchmarks. And if you need to prioritize, please just prioritize your logo. But the benchmarks for your environment for your game, let's start doing that. If we go over to um, Adams, let's see, why am I in that? Here we go. So we're going to start doing our environment design. And environment design, basically, let's take a look at this main element. A background for your game. This is a space in which the characters will play. All interior or exterior assets should propel the story forward. This is for a 2D casual game. Sometimes use a bitmap or vector. For this project, we'll be working in Photoshop. So you're basically right now just looking for 3 benchmarks showing the style of what you're aiming for. Take a look at some student work coming out, and those are the colorways. Maybe it's going to be more painterly. So imagine your characters are going to be moving through here. You're going to have your graphic user interface over top of it. How do the characters interact with the game? That's really going to be important. Let's take a look at my Pinterest board for some examples of, well, these are color keys. We really need game backgrounds, Susan. So let me find my Pinterest collection for backgrounds. I guess I'm not logged in and that's all my hairstyle stuff. You don't need to see that. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm not able to find you the exact thing that I'm looking for right now, which is really, I'm looking for game backgrounds. So do you know what to look for? Any questions moving forward here? Okay. So I wanted to show you before your logos are due, one more set of some professional logos, and let's take a look at them. Even if the background is whitish, it's not really white because you want the white of whatever you have to kind of really pop out. So I did that a lot with your pieces. I tried to give you a different tone or color. Now in the other, what else do you see when you look at the backgrounds of these pieces?
Lots of gradients getting lighter towards the piece.
Yeah, so it ends up actually giving it feeling a glow right there. You can do that with just one big brush pop right behind it. But yeah, absolutely. That's happening all over the place, isn't it? Um, so that's something to think about doing. Sometimes there's these textured backgrounds. I don't think we're ready for that right now yet because we haven't built our environment. So don't worry about trying to do that. Um, Big chunkiness. The gems, Michaela's not here right now, but the gem that Michaela would do, make sure that it's large enough. Um, There's really high contrast. We can read them all at this small scale. So make sure that you can read yours at the small scale. Make it smaller so that you can see it. What else are you seeing in the look here?
They're all like 3D mostly.
Yeah, that might have been just the reason, the ones that I was picking at that point. I think that the strokes are quite large.
Strokes.
You know, the shapes around them are pretty large. So don't be shy. You know, as I think back, like your shape around yours, China, is kind of a thin one. Maybe think about making it even thicker and coming into the inside a little bit more. Might
Okay, cool.
And Eden isn't here either. Eden is working on something that's very kind of technical, not robotic, but steampunky. Sometimes getting these multiple edges will help that steampunky feel. I don't really have a steampunk one so much in here. But yeah, shininess and rustiness, make sure that you get that feel. Like, I don't know, like Jalen, you might want to even have some elements of probably even another stroke on that. There wouldn't be like nuggets like these or whatever they are, rivets, but maybe there's an extra stroke around it. And I think Jake is gone, but he's doing stone, and you can see how this has kind of a carved, it's a pill emboss is what that's called in the embossing. So some tips as you move forward, some pretty sweet looking logos there. I'm pulled the game GUI design because it helps us to see how in game environments look. So basically you need a space for your characters to move around. So is there a path, or is there some place that they're going, a goal? Is there things that they're trying to win along the way? Like, do you have the little assets that they're trying to collect in your environment? And do they need to kind of move through that platformer? Some of you guys are doing puzzle games, right? I don't know if I have some puzzle game things on here. But in your environment design search for 3 benchmarks, you're going to try to look for 3 environments that kind of mimic what you're aiming at, okay? So those are the GUI benchmarks, but inside of this, I've got, these are going to be a hodgepodge of all kinds of things because I kind of just keep pulling environments, but like someone can move through that space, but then I would have to know that my character is going to be 3/4 top down. So those are things to think about. When I gather stuff for painting, I gather photos, I gather concept art, I gather a lot of things that will influence me. So get a Pinterest collection and start letting that kind of become your influence. This is all stuff for wheels and other stuff that I'm working on. So start looking. I'm only looking for 3 for you. See, the wheels characters can move through this. I've had this be a big influence for my character stuff. Or maybe it's super cartoony. So find 3, put it into your slideshow, and that's part of your assignment, plus finishing your logo out, okay? Any questions moving forward? Okay, have a great evening. I'll see you later.
Yep, see ya.
Bye.